Hey guys, this is Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky, and this is Matt Chat. Today's topic is dealing with panic and claustrophobia from the bottom position. This is a really common problem with beginners, but it can still creep up in the intermediate and advanced students sometimes. So what happens is we take a situation where one of the fundamental fears that we have is loss of breath. Okay, people panic when they have, when they can't take, they get shortness of breath. This happens during asthma attacks, heart attacks. People get very, very panicky. And when you have someone laying on your chest, pinning you in a cross-side mount, scarf hold, or whatever, they're putting pressure on your chest. They're compressing your rib cage. They're kind of putting pressure on your diaphragm. It's hard to breathe. So, and not only that, but you're usually tired and you're trying to breathe. You need oxygen. Okay, so in a time when you need oxygen the most, someone is preventing you from taking a deep breath, and so this will make people panic. One of the most common things that I hear when I first start training a new person is they come in and they are really surprised at how heavy everybody is. They get very panicky. They're used to seeing something like the Ultimate Fighting Championship or watching a grappling match, but there's no way to convey the sheer sense of weight and crushing power that somebody who can drop their weight on you has on your psyche. So people get very claustrophobic. They want out of there. They want off their back, but they can't get off their back. And when they can't, they get panicked. So what I typically will do with a beginning student is I'll do a series of stress inoculation drills. So somebody who comes in, I'm not going to pair them with the heaviest person. If I have a 125 pounder, I'm not going to pair them with a 250 or 300 pound person. I'm going to put them with somebody roughly their own weight. And when we do pinning drills, they're going to start to get the sensation of being pinned by this person. Now, I have a beginner class. I'm fortunate enough to have enough students that I can have a white belts only class. And the white belts haven't developed that weight drop enough to cause a complete panic in most people, like somebody who was a blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt will be able to do. So when I put those people together, yes, they are going to feel the pressure, but they're not going to feel it like they would if a person that was very skilled were laying on top of them. So if I notice during the drill that they're starting to panic, then I'll start to kind of coach them through that. Okay, technique aside, they need to go to some kind of mental place where they're not going to freak out. Because yes, you should put your hands inside. Okay, yes, you need to get on your hip. Yes, you need to breathe shallow. But you have to calm yourself down. If you panic and you lose it, you'll spiral out of control. You'll start to flail around. And if you don't give up an arm bar, you may just tap out from the pressure. So a lot of people will tap out from the pressure early on. So a way to do this is to, if you're an advanced ranking student, if you're a coach, then you can work with the student to gradually increase the amount of pressure you put on them. So as a brown or a black belt or even a purple belt, you should be able to grade your levels of pressure. So I can give somebody some pressure, just enough to make them uncomfortable, and then allow them to work from that position. As they get better and tougher, and they're able to mentally overcome that pressure, then I put a little bit more pressure on them. And so on until they end up taking the full pressure without actually freaking out. So it's just like it's a psychological technique called desensitization. Okay, so you put somebody in an uncomfortable situation enough times, they are no longer uncomfortable with it. Okay, they use this to cure phobias, things like that. So it's systematic desensitization. The key is you can't put them into a traumatic situation too early. So you have to grade the force. If they come in and they get crushed so bad when they first step on the mat that they'll never want to do it again. Okay, you'll scare that person off. So it's important to take care of the beginners in that sense, to guide them through that process and have them understand that yes, they can tap out to a pin. Okay, they can tap out anytime they want to, but it's up to them. That the choice is theirs. They can push themselves out of their comfort zone just a little bit more each time. See how much they can take before they have to actually give up or they get out. Okay, and they'll learn to be tougher. So you can teach mental toughness in that way. So you can get somebody who's very advanced and put enough pressure on them to basically stop them from breathing, and they're not going to tap out just because they don't want to give up to a pin. If you get a brown or black belt who taps out to a pin, you are putting some serious pressure, or there is a major weight differential between the two people. Because by that time, the person has developed such a mindset that, hey, this is just uncomfortable, this is painful, I can't really breathe that well, but it's not going to kill me. And eventually that person is going to give me a little space by moving into another position or going for a submission attack. So the key points on this are, first, don't overwhelm a new student with pressure. Gradually incorporate that. If you have to, if you don't have a beginner class, then at least put them with people who can grade the pressure, or put them with other unskilled or relatively new students who aren't extremely heavy, and have them work with those people and develop that skill that way. Do some one-on-one work with them as you come over and coach them, and add a little bit more pressure each time, just enough to push them out of their comfort zone. And then when they are able to operate, you need to give them positive feedback and let them know they did well. And they'll find some place in their head that they can go to when they get in that situation, even if it's some kind of weird self-affirmation that only they know about, or some mantra that they have to say, it's going to get better, I'm not going to die. This self-talk inside, this positive self-talk, that is really important stuff, because even at a intermediate to advanced level, every once in a while when you're dog tired and you're going against a really tough opponent and you get stuck in their best pin while you're extremely tired, and you try to mount a really intense escape attempt that exhausts you, and their weight comes back down on you, it'll flash through your mind that I just want to give up. And then you talk yourself out of it sometimes. Okay? Anyway, that is my discussion on claustrophobia and how to deal with it. I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts, your experiences with this, because this is a universal phenomenon for new people. This has been Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky. Reminding you to train hard, train smart, and train often. We'll see you next time.